Hey, what's up, guys? I'm going to throw something out there that I've heard literally no one talk about, but I think it's a very important thing to consider if you're somebody like me. And I'm sure if you're listening to my channel, I'm sure you are, which is, you're not necessarily an expert when it comes to PEDs. You might have used them for a while, or maybe not. Maybe you're learning about them. But when we are learning online, we are listening to quote experts online, right? And a lot of these experts are pro bodybuilders, or they're doctors, or both. Like Todd Lee's a bodybuilder and doctor, and obviously there's a great wealth of information to learn from somebody who's a professional and an expert. I listen to them all the time, but you have to keep something in mind when listening to them, because the way they're approaching things is based on it's not going to be suitable for everybody, okay? And that'll get right into my first point, which is something called false consensus bias, okay? Which is a lot of the time, not all the time, a lot of experts when it comes to PEDs, I find, are pretty good at this, but sometimes they'll give advice that is kind of across the board, like this is what you should, like this is what you should or shouldn't do. But sometimes some advice is suitable for some, but not suitable for everybody, or not suitable for somebody who is, say, doing a TRT plus, which is kind of my thing here, because that's kind of what I do. I do like HRT, sports TRT kind of thing, and that's what I focus on my channel. And I know a lot of you guys are in the same boat as me. So if you're listening to guys who do like gram plus cycles, their advice isn't necessarily going to be applicable to you. So when they're saying things like this is what you should do, or this is what you shouldn't do, it might not be applicable. And one example I'll give on that is a lot of bodybuilders now, I find they don't recommend nandrolone for people, because maybe when they're doing nandrolone, they're doing large amounts of it, and then they're getting the unwanted side effects from doing large amounts. So they do other compounds where they can do large amounts, like Primabol and Re-Q or something, and it's not going to cause the negative sides that nandrolone does. So they'll advise everybody across the board, don't do it. But when somebody who's doing like who wants to add a little bit of nandrolone to their stack, like, and they're doing like, say, 150, 250 tests, and they want to add 50 or 100 nandrolone, it's totally appropriate. It's totally okay for joint issues or for whatever other issues, okay? So that's like a conformity bias that I think a lot of guys, a lot of experts relay to people. When it comes down to fitness as well, I see a lot of bodybuilders say, oh, like, don't do flat bench, or don't do deadlifts or whatever. Well, fuck that, man. Of course do flat bench, do deadlifts, right? But they're not, because it's not part of their sport. It's like, for them, it would be too high risk, and they're looking for hypertrophy, and there's other machines that do that better for them. So when they're saying don't do it across the board, it's kind of a conformity bias, okay? Yeah, so I'll get that out of the way. Also, there's something called like an expert blind spot, which I think I see quite often, which is when guys, bodybuilders, experts give advice. They're giving advice on topics that are really good. It's like the conclusion. The advice is like a conclusion, but they're missing out on some of the premises. Like, they're not giving the full story, the whole information involved. So, for example, if somebody who's an expert tells you to do a specific steroid stack, but without telling you to do an ancillary, which they kind of expect you to know about, because everybody in their realm knows about it, to do, say, telmisartan or an ACE inhibitor or something. Well, they're not going to necessarily mention it. So if you follow their advice about, specific stack to do, You might run into high blood pressure. I know I'm not saying all influencers or experts would do that, but that's just one example, okay, that I can think about. And it's an important thing to keep in mind when listening to experts. Also, when it comes to PEDs and also exercise in general, people who are bodybuilders, they do their different phases, right? So a lot of time their gear use is going to be like an off-season use, and then pre-stage use, okay? And that is just not applicable to your average Joe Blow who's doing it, like you and me, I assume. Maybe some of you are bodybuilders. But I don't think that's applicable because it's just not part of the cycles involved in that. It's just not part of our general lifestyle. Ours is going to be a lot more basic. Although there might be some aspects of it that we can learn from and incorporate it, but it's just not we're not going to be in the same boat when it comes down to that. So listening to experts, say for example, pro bodybuilder cycles and what they're doing, it's not something I would recommend mimicking or imitating by any means. Okay, and I think a lot of you guys know that. But I just want to put it out there because again, this isn't something I hear people talking about, okay? And so let's change focus here. So what should we be doing, okay? And there's been a number of influencers that I've been watching now who are now being pretty good at this, okay? So it's a matter of picking your influencers, picking guys you listen to who are good, who are giving advice to somebody like potentially you or me about safe and effective steroid use, particularly the safe, because it's not like we have to go in the realm of harming our bodies to achieve our goals. Far from it. You can achieve your goals, fitness goals. I assume if you're just an average guy who wants to get fit or is doing TRT and wants to get fit by doing like either just TRT by itself. You can still be fit by doing that, but for one, before adding any other compounds, I would do TRT plus HGH for a particular period of time. Okay, HGH is very safe and very good. I think it's something that a lot of guys neglect, and I think this is again one of the blind spots that a lot of guys, experts quote, don't talk to guys about, which is before you do any other secondary compounds, I would recommend doing the HGH first, okay, and be on that with your TRT. Second of all, you can bump up your TRT dose. Say if you're doing 100, do for a period of time 150 for like 2 or 3 months. Try it out, right? And then go back to 100. See how you feel. You feel good? What your results? What your strength results? And it's all based on the goals you have. Maybe 100 is completely fine with you, and obviously monitoring your blood work in the process. But here's the whole, I guess, caveat of the whole video, which is if guys who want to go beyond that, then look up to people who are bodybuilders and hardcore steroid users, and the cycles and the advice often historically given isn't going to be appropriate for everybody across the board. And again, that's part of the bias. That it's not going to be for everybody. Just like their workout advice, like I'm not going to follow Dorian Gates's or Ronnie Coleman's workout routine to get jacked. It's just not in the cards for. It's not appropriate for me, right? Well, that's why we have to find. This is one of my main intentions, is to provide advice which is appropriate for a lot of guys who want to use PEDs, leverage pharmacological agents, anabolics, androgens for specific goals, obviously fitness goals and health goals. And I think that's going to be the new kind of breakthrough, the new paradigm of things, because we're now coming to a point in collective understanding of a lot of these compounds that there's ones that we can add on to testosterone that are completely safe and completely effective and provide better quality of life for guys who want to continue their fitness journey in their older years without risking injury, better recovery, better quality of life, better sexual drive, better focus, better, all types of better things, okay? Without risking, effects of toxicity and stressing the organs and misaligning your homeostatic balance, okay? So that's pretty much the video I wanted to put out there today. And in doing so, I'm somebody I'll be the first to admit that I don't claim to be an expert by any means. I'm an enthusiast. I'm here sharing my personal journey, my story, and my information that I have and my perspective. And I know a lot of you guys who have commented and things share that as well. Okay, we're on the common path, common goals and aspirations. So I think it's really important that in the collective sphere of information on the internet, that we can come together and share this information so people who choose this path will do it more safe and effective. Does that make sense? So I'm just crossing this park and it's completely dark right now. But I guess I should mention at the same time that obviously listening to professionals is good and experts is good, and there's a whole wealth of information in doing so as well. Just don't blindly follow. Keep the things I said in mind, at very least, that there's going to be a potential bias involved, okay? And it goes not just with bodybuilding and steroids, that goes for all parts of life. If you're learning about something new, say whether it's business or whatever else, understand that there's going to be there might be missing pieces, vital pieces of the puzzle, or there might be some things that you need to learn for yourself in doing so. And I think once you do learn for yourself, and first you mimic, right? First you have to learn it from somebody else to mimic, and you incorporate that, and then you can modify that, and then you learn for yourself, and then eventually you become your own kind of mini expert on it, because you know what works, you know what doesn't, and then you can share that to other people like I'm doing to you, so people don't fall wrong paths of doing compounds that's going to cause harm, okay? Because you can very easily do that down this road. We're given a power in leveraging these compounds, and with that power can cause great benefits, but it could also cause great detriment very quickly if it's misused. So I'll leave it there, guys. What are your thoughts? Leave in the comment section below. I'll always love you guys' comments on my videos. Love responding to them. Love hearing your perspective. Always. Thanks for watching. Peace.